Our opponent makes a mistake in the game you're about to see. This is the position that we encountered. It's a fairly simple tactic, but let me know if you can spot a way to win the game. Give you about 5 seconds. All right, so if you thought about it, there's a few different options. One way might be to jump your knight like this, at which point the best move is either to take your rook or attack the knight like this. However, if that person does so, you can create a fork that wins the rook. But in this case, it's a rook for a knight, because we're most likely going to lose that knight at some point. I think an even better move here would be to go pawn e5. That's a double attack. You can see that our bishop's now attacking their rook as well as their knight. There's a few options for the opponent. They can either take the pawn, defend the knight, and then we can take the rook. The computer seems to be suggesting this knight move. It attacks the queen. If they take back, we take the queen. So it seems like they can't take back. If they dodge it, we then double the pawns and skewer the queen. Rated 1372. We have a Sicilian opening. What I've been taught is usually to push these two pawns on the left-hand side upwards. I'm going to do that right away. After this is done, I will have the center. I have to be careful because there is a check. He's attacking my pawn. I'm going to defend it with the knight. That also doesn't prevent the check, but it blocks it. I've been doing this new thing where I try to find tactics and show them to you guys at the beginning of the videos. Hopefully this time in the video I spotted the tactic, but usually it's tactics that I missed. It's been hard to get high-rated opponents lately. Everyone's been under 1300. The opponent pushes a pawn. I'm not sure that's the right move. I'm going to develop my knight. That will defend one of my pawns and prevent him from pushing his pawn too far. There's a check available for me. Now I'm considering pushing this pawn so that his knight has to jump around. Why don't we just develop pieces instead? So I'm going to develop my bishop. He's now threatening my knight. If he takes my knight, my pawn goes undefended. Let's develop the bishop first. Now his rook is defended, so the tactic I was looking at won't work anymore. In fact, it might not have worked before. If I take here, he can take with his knight, adding another attacker to my knight. I don't think I can ignore it. Can I just take it? All right, here's what I'm calculating. If I take the pawn, he takes back with his knight. I push my bishop back. There's two attackers on my knight, but I think they're sufficient defenders, so I'm going to do that. As expected, he takes back with the knight. Now what I can do, I don't want to double my pawns. So first thing I'm going to do is retreat my bishop back. Now we've got plenty of defenders here. Then I can push his bishop, castle. I would eventually like to get my knight out of the way so I can connect my pawns. I don't want to end up with disconnected pawns. He takes. I take back as planned. Now his bishop is under attack, so he needs to do something about that. Can I castle here? Are there any tactics? If I give the check, no, let's castle. Now what I'd like to do is line up a rook against his queen. His king's in the center. If I give a check now, he can block with the pawn, but then I can take back with my knight, and he can't take back with the pawn. I'm going to try that. I'm going to go for the check and see if he falls for that. The bishop can also retreat, so I'm not going to do that. Why don't I, like I said, let's line up a rook with his queen. I think I'm threatening a knight jump right now. If I jump my knight to d6, that will attack his queen and his knight, allowing me to trade off another piece. I think at that point he'd have to retreat his queen again. All right, which knight jump do we want to do? Right now, I could take a pawn. Actually, I think if I push my pawn, I will be able to steal. Yeah, if I push my pawn, I will be able to steal his rook in the corner. I don't know. This is, without too much calculation, I think I'm going to push. I'm either going to take this pawn over here and attack his queen, but I think I can do better here. I'm going to push this way. Let's do that. So that unleashes my bishop. If he pushes his pawn, yeah, I was thinking if he pushes his pawn, I'd take it, but I can actually take his knight, so he can't do that. I'm most likely going to take his rook next move, or his knight. Okay, let's take the knight. Now, in terms of the pawn, I can still take the pawn, I believe. Let's see what... I mean, if I were him, what would I do here? I would probably... I'd get the queen out of the way from the knight, protect the pawn. And in that case, there would be 2 defenders. We've got 1, 2, 3 attackers. So either way, I can still take this pawn. And okay, so... I think trades benefit me, so I can try to go for... I don't really want to take that pawn right now, so I'm going to try to go for a queen trade. I don't think that backfires. Let's go like that. Queen trade. Yeah, so I'll give up a pawn for that. Now, I think I can win back the pawn, so we're just going to go here. Now I'm guaranteed to take his bishop, because if he doesn't, I'll take his rook. All right, do we trade some more pieces, or do we give a check first? Oh, I feel like my checkmate sensors are going off right now. What happens if I give a check? His only move is to protect with the bishop, otherwise it's checkmate. And if he protects with his bishop, I can send in one more attacker. I think I'm going to go for that, just cause. Check. His only option that doesn't get checkmated right away is to protect with the bishop again. Then I will send in my other rook. And it might end up just giving me a big trade at the end, but yep. Now, is this a mistake? Should I send in my rook? Yeah, let's just go for it. Oh, let's send in the rook. If I send in the rook, no, you know what? I'm not going to get fancy. Let's just take, because there's no pin. Let's see if we can get another trade going. Trades are good here. He obliges. I'm going to get my rook to the 7th rank. Ooh. Let's line up like this. Now I'm attacking his pawn. I'm also preventing him from doubling my pawns. Okay, let's go here. This does threaten that pawn. I don't think it's defendable. Unless, if he moves... That was a good move. All right, let's get all of our pawns on dark squares. That way he can't effectively attack anything. Oh my god, I just could have taken his bishop. That's embarrassing. I could have taken his bishop. I probably still can next move. Next, I'm going to push his bishop. Well, let's go there. Depending on what his rook does, we can get checkmate. Let's jump in. This move here threatens checkmate, or at least a fork. He's got a few seconds left. I think he'll run out of time. He or she. Probably going to go for the check next move regardless. Let's go for the check. We'll take back here. This threatens checkmate again. Don't think he's going to spot it. Good boy. All right, let's go here. Take his pawns. One pawn. Well, let's just slowly and methodically take all his pawns. Okay. I'm going to park my bishop on f4. And that will be an unassailable pawn. And then I'm just going to march my pawns up the board. Let's go here. I want to get behind my pawns. So I'm going to go like this. Let's go there. Let's go there. Boom. Okay, let's just push this one. All right, let's make it so that we can never lose this pawn. And then let's just go here. Go like that. It's just, I'm going to take the rest of his pawns now. All right. So he finally resigns. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, you can hit the like button and subscribe. See you soon.